Hello again, guys. It's we're back here with the Style 8, and I've ground it, or grind it. Why can I not say the right word? We have ground it some more. Okay, we've grinded the rivets some more, and it's absolutely covered in metal shavings. Yeah, not my... Is this already falling apart? That'd be kind of good if it was. It may not be the best method ever. I do scratch up the plates around the kind of, around that general area. It's pretty hard not to with a tool like this. So, not exactly sure if that is going to be the main way to do it. I don't know. But the perimeters of those rivets are the main kind of holding points, so those need to come off. So you can drill through it all you want, but the rivet may actually be perfectly stable because the outer edge of it is actually doing the work here. So before we pop this apart, it's still together. Let's have a look at how our gear train is set up. We've got a pallet fork at the end. Actually, maybe, well, no, we'll go this way. We've got our pallet fork at the end here, the escape wheel. I believe this is the second wheel, first wheel in the gear train, the actual center wheel, which you can see in there, and of course right before that is the great wheel with the mainspring barrel, and you can see our alarm mechanism is right in there too. We've got a hammer here. Whoops, my camera wants to come so close that's actually just falling all over it. Yeah, we've got our alarm trip wheel here, and we've got our hammer for hitting the bell. That is basically the main components of this thing. Those are all the main pieces that need to come out. And we'll talk, I guess, more about each one as we pop this apart. So I guess we'll just pull on it. I'm not exactly sure what is going to happen here. Okay. Try not to bend the plates on us, of course. Yeah, that's what sucks about this. Unfortunately, you can do all the stuff you want to do, but at the end of the day, kind of comes down to whatever the heck happens here. Okay, this will probably take a few minutes for me to figure out where's the right button to press, if you know what I mean. Okay, I've kind of figured it out. I'm taking my pliers that have no grips on them, and I'm just trying as carefully as I can to bend these corners up, because it seems like there's basically no other way to get them to detach like that. See if this will just pop off really easy. Nope, they seem to be gripped on there pretty good. Okay, well there we go. That's all of these off. And is this gonna play nice? Okay, that wheel just fell out of there. Okay, yeah, that's basically the gear train. We can bend these back now, because I don't want these, I don't want to forget that later. I mean, it's pretty obvious to see that it's bent, but still. Yeah, we're just going to bend that back. Not that I want to get in the habit of plate bending, because it can be such a nuisance to deal with. Oh, that just fell right out. Okay. Yeah, that is the gear train right there, pretty much. That is the whole darn thing. And, yeah, I'm not even going to bother cleaning this yet. I'm going to drill these two out. This is all going to come out. We're going to have a fun time. That's what we're going to do. I'm just going to put this here for now. Is this looking good now? Is this functional? I'll have to test fit that back on there to see if it actually looks half right. But I think, yeah, I think that's probably good now. I know this wasn't perfectly flat originally. Obviously, with stuff like that in here. And you can see, well, Greg, there's more rivets. Yeah, I'm not drilling those out. I'm not taking this stuff off. It's too hard. I can't do that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's too hard. It's not worth the effort. And really, we'll try and clean around this and try and clean as much as I can in here. But, yeah, it's really not worth that's really not worth it, if you ask me, to de-rivet stuff like that. Okay, that's looking better now. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's probably good. So all of this can come out now, and we're going to clean it. So there goes our center wheel. Nice and easy. There's all that. Our first wheel, I think. That looks like it's suffering from some rust. Nice. or some disgusting oil or something's on there. I don't know what that is. This wheel here, yep. That looks like it's having the same problem. Someone probably oiled it wrong. They probably dabbed oil on something like that. This, yeah, there's our escape wheel, looking good. Pallet fork, looking good. Spring barrel's having some type of problem. We'll have to take this apart too. So, yeah, now we've just got our top and bottom plates. And if I just stick this back on, let's see if it'll fit. I'm curious. Will it fit back in here? It should. If it doesn't, I'll be kind of surprised, considering it just came off. That is on right, I think. Yeah, it's being a little more hesitant to go back on now because of my changes I've made here. That's okay. I'll just try and do that off camera. I should also mention that you can literally do this entire project with a Big Ben, which of course has the same exact movement, depending on how old it is. Yes, this didn't really have that much I could film that wasn't the same basic stuff you've seen a lot before on this channel. Not that I'll never show my cleaning process or oiling process ever again, but with this project, there's a lot of experimenting. Well, sort of experimenting. I also just didn't want to film a lot of it because it was an experimental project, and I didn't really know where it was going to go for a while there. These holes are not perfectly centered, which is okay, because it's clearly running either way. Yeah, that was my fault. What I really should have done here was grind the rivets down with my Dremel first, and then drill, not the other way around like I did here. What else? There isn't really that much to say here, actually. These pillars here, when having their threads installed, they did start to rotate in their own rivets, or whatever these things are. I assume there's some type of rivet or something there. Yeah, I honestly am not entirely sure. Anyway, when they were having their threads installed, they did start to spin, so obviously they're not put in as securely as their older counterparts. I guess because they never expected those to even need to be under any type of pressure other than, you know, the type of having a rivet on it. Yeah, it was a fairly simple project. If you got a tap and die set with screws that you can, you know, with the right screws, you're basically good. Oh, and by the way, I couldn't find flatheads, so I was kind of forced to go with these Phillips, but that's okay. This clock can now be serviced again and again and again and not have any trouble there, and, you know, parts can be interchanged, etc. And it'll all be good to go for this movement, hopefully for a long time. And, yeah, this is how you're actually supposed to service one of these. You're not supposed to, you know, just dunk it in a vat of whatever cleaning supply you bought off of Time Savers or whatever the heck it is. Of course, I don't use Time Savers because I'm in Canada. Otherwise, I would, but I've got Purin. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. This was easy. You can try it yourself at home. And, yeah, I actually recommend doing this if you actually care enough about one of these. Really not that hard of a job to do. So, yeah, it was just, you know, getting it apart, putting the holes in, a basic service, and then it all kind of went back together. Of course, I did test fit this. Like, I did test fit the gear train in here before actually, you know, installing all the like the balance wheel and the spring barrel. I just had the wheels in there. I didn't even think I had the hammer in there, but I had the wheels and I was just test spinning them, and they were spinning freely. So I went ahead, reassembled the rest of it, and here we are. I will say, though, that amplitude on the balance wheel is not absolutely, like, amazing. I mean, it's good, but I've seen better on older versions of this, but I'm not going to try and adjust that even more because, you know, there's no point. It runs completely down. You know, it's fine. It's fine. It really is. Even, yeah, I don't know if this ever would have had an amazing amplitude like some of its older brothers and sisters. I guess just brothers, say. I don't know if this ever would have had the perfect amplitude that those did, but whatever, I'm leaving it. It works perfectly fine. The spring barrel, unfortunately, was the most difficult part of the entire process. I ended up blowing the back bushing out of it by accident, And as you can see there, it's been soldered back in. Not what I was intending to do at all, but it kind of just turned out that way. Yeah, I'll have to perfect, well, I think I did perfect that my method of disassembling these spring barrels, because they're actually splined together. Like, it's on, but this whole shaft here is splined. It's got splines on it. So this is stuck to the, it's all stuck together. It doesn't come apart like your regular barrel. So, yeah, you're kind of forced to hammer it apart, and unfortunately, I hammered the back bushing out of this one, and, there's not really a great way to get that, or at least not a great way that I know of, to put that back on when you accidentally hammer that out. So I just kind of made the hole a bit bigger, stuck the bushing back on, and soldered it on, and we seem to be going okay. So just in case you blow one of those apart, that's the easiest method to fix it, I'd say. I actually had to repair like two of these, no, I think it was 3 of them actually. I ended up blowing them apart 3 different times, and yeah, that wasn't smart. So this one went together probably the worst, because it's actually doesn't wind perfectly straight anymore, which is really unfortunate. But it does still work. If I just trip the alarm here, you can see it when it's actually moving. See that? Yeah, that's why I also put some grease on there, because it kind of meanders over here a bit on that wheel there, and yeah, it does get fairly close to the edge of that, which I wasn't terribly impressed with, but it doesn't go off. The gear does not disengage, so that's good. And yeah, so I'm leaving it like that because it works that way. And yeah, I put grease on there to smoothen the ride. So usually you wouldn't put grease on these wheels here, but this time I did because it looked like it could probably use it. Yeah, so that was, other than accidentally breaking the spring barrel, this went pretty fine. So yeah, again, what I do differently, grind the rivets down and then drill holes in the, sorry, actually, let me restart that. Grind the rivets down, pull the clock apart, and then drill the holes when there's no gears or anything in the train. That just makes it so much easier when everything's out of the way. And other than that, not blowing the spring barrel apart would be another thing to do differently. And I think that's almost basically it. So this was a really quite easy project. I thought it'd be harder, but it wasn't. And like I said, if you have one of these that you value, you can totally fix it. Or you can do it the way most people do it and dunk it in a can of whatever and hope it's clean after that. But that doesn't do it for me, and it doesn't do it for all of these clocks, because I've tried that. And yeah, it just doesn't do a thorough job at all. And plus, the spring in this one was actually broken, so yeah, I actually had to pull this apart or else it wasn't going to run. That's basically where we were at. So now it can be serviced again and again and again. The mainspring is actually replaced. I think I may have mentioned that before. I may try and salvage the original, actually, because it was broken just way on the very end, but we'll see about that. And yeah, otherwise I'll stop rambling and, show you this back together, and then we should be basically good to go. After that, I think this, I think I've said enough here. When is this clock made again? Just so we can all see it one more time. I think I'm reading that date code accurately. That is 8 of 1980. So it's August of 1980. I think that's right. I don't know for sure though. I thought by 1980 they were making these even crappier than they are now. Like, I'm pretty sure the center pinion on this thing is made of some kind of steel or something. And yeah, well, I don't know. Don't take my word for it on. Whoops! Don't take my word for it on that one. I don't know. There was some material cheapening here. And also, if you look at the balance wheel, I mean, that's the most obvious one right there, the plastic roller. Yeah, I mean, it still works, so I'm going to use it, but, that's, like, what the heck is that? That's a consumer product and a half right there. Otherwise, yeah, I think there was some material cheapening there on the center pinion. and the great wheel is actually basically the same as it was before. I think the old ones had a different center pinion anyway. It doesn't... Ask the Watchworks. He knows. He told me that. I wouldn't have even noticed. Go harass him in his comments section. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, so other than that, I think we're good. We're good to go here. So now we can reassemble this. So here both of these are. They're both serviced. And, yeah, that's more or less this project. This got pulled apart off camera. This was literally the same exact process as this other guy, except of course it's not riveted together, so boy, do I feel empowered. Yeah, this is great. We've been able to service one riveted together movement. So now I can buy these and service them up, and you know, away they go. Perfect. So let's hear the alarms on both of them. We'll go with the older one first. Let's see here. Oh, I should probably get the date for this one compared to this one. Okay, so if the date codes are to be correct on, or if at least if I'm interpreting them right, this is from January 1971, and this is from August of 1980. So there's a big, you know, 9-year, almost 10-year age gap between these two. And as you can see, the Stylite design has basically not changed at all since, you know, since the early 70s. And I guess they didn't need it to. I guess they thought this was perfectly fine 10 years later. Of course, it wouldn't stay that way, though. Absolutely not. And this is, yeah, this has to be like one of the last, when did they even get rid of the Stylite? I think they got rid of, oh wait, well, if the Style 9 came out in 1978, then this is a fairly late Style 8 Baby Ben. There was a time, I'm pretty sure, where they sold the 8s and the 9s together in the same era, but that wasn't around for very long. They kind of kept these available just in case you wanted to get a Style 8 before they were just completely discontinued. Anyway, enough talk. Let's hear the alarms on these. Okay, so I'll pull this out. And yeah, the old key completely just died on me. Like, you know, I was test winding it, and the thing just basically fell apart. So that's the end of that. Let's see here. And that is loud. Let's switch it to soft. Okay, I may have to do something there. I don't know. This is fairly common on these things. Honestly, I think the way to fix that might be just bending the hammer out or trying to reposition it somehow in the case. This thing had those really pathetic plastic, whatever you want to call it, those plastic inserts to keep the movement in the case. Yeah, they suck all the way around. I don't know. Well, that shouldn't be too hard to fix. Anyway, as for his brother here, let's trip the alarm on this. See what it does. We'll do it again. Loud. And soft. So again, this has basically the same problem. It's hitting the bell a little bit, but not really. Yeah, this is not uncommon for these things. At least it hits it at all. Whatever, I'll have to go back and fix that at some point, but it's really not that big of a deal, at least not to me. You know, they're both running, and they both will hopefully stay running for a very long time. And if I ever find an older brown Baby Ben that, of course, has the steel base like this one does, maybe I'll pick it up or something, if it's for the right price. But anyway, I've basically learned throughout this entire thing that working on riveted together movements, if you have the right tools, is lots of fun. And I don't know, these little movements in general actually are lots of fun. If they're bolted together, they're super quick to work on. Granted, if there's no weird problems going on, they should take you no time at all. And like this one here, I mean, it had a broken spring and it needed a service, and that was it. You know, in and out, put the screws in. Next time anything goes wrong, or next time it needs a service, you know, we're good to go. So anyway, that is this series, guys, and I'll do more stuff like this, probably with these same movements again on different clocks. And yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, and Thanks for watching.